from what you know, is that the Buddhist conception of a human being is different from what was in the Vedas, for instance?
Oh, yes. From the Vedas?
Yeah.
Yes, I think
What's the difference? How
I think any theistic system,
yeah,
especially, well, Vedas maybe you could say is not strictly a creationist type of thing, but it's sort of mixed with it. A little bit is. And so any theistic system will think of a human as something lesser than an absolute deity. You know, the Vedas, the poems of the Vedas are the body of Brahma or something at a later date, but earlier there was these Dyaus, the sky god, you know, and there's some cosmogonies in there, you know. But they're a little bit less, because they were nomads, the original people of the Vedas, they're a little bit less monotheistic than the, you know, sort of a king. They don't see it quite like that. But let's say Indra creates everything. So then you are lesser than the creator.
Right.
And then your mystic gets in trouble by saying, well, they want to be one with the creator. But that's what I was saying in thinking about this. I was thinking about how the human, having evolved to this altruistic sensibility, this social thing of being able to feel they are one with the other among animals, you know, a human.
Yeah.
They then run away from that sensitivity because it feels so overwhelming to be sensitive, you know, because you're afraid of pain, right? So then in the theistic thing, the human has to be lesser than God and has to go back to God somehow. The mystic will go. The non-mystic will just go to heaven and sing in the choir or something like that. You know? But they're going to get out of this human life somehow, you know. And whereas I think the Buddha thing is that the combination of the sensitivity and intelligence and the vulnerability of the human is what enables and forces, in a way, the evolution into this more amazing, loving being, an instrument of love, an agent of love, I would say, actually.
So wait, the human are the instrument of love created by the God. So basically, because you were saying, in Sufism, you were saying, I love it, you made it succinctly. So in Sufism, the God and the humans, they need each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the Hebrew tradition, in the Jewish tradition, it's the God is designed to create perfection of an imperfect world.
Right.
Yes.
And in Buddhist, do we have the cliff note? Do you have one line to tell me? In Buddhist, the human is created by the God because?
No, humans are not created by God.
Okay, the humans why the humans are around?
Humans have been gods.
Have been gods
and they have been animals, all kinds of animals.
Okay.
And they've been Mrs. God and Mrs. Animals too.
Okay.
All of them.
So basically, human is just a phase in the.
Yeah. So this is an important difference in the sense that the idea that the human is created by God out of God's love. Unfortunately, the human has a really difficult time believing that, because of the ascription of omnipotence to the God, the creator God. If the God is omnipotent, why doesn't he make me Buddha to start with, or God to start? What's the problem putting me among suffering? But there's no point.
That's the point is in the Hebrew, in the
The Kabbalah tradition.
In the Kabbalah tradition, that's exactly that.
Yeah. So that's why in the Buddhist story, the monk goes to Brahma, who can travel in his astral body, and he gets to Brahma's heaven. And he says to Brahma, you created the world, I won't understand it. Can you explain to me how you did it, and what existed before earth, water, wind, fire, and space, and consciousness? And God said to him, do you have an appointment? It was a little bit back and forth like that. So then finally he said, because God, I'm very busy, God said. So then Brahma said, or God said, then he left. He said, okay, I'm sorry to bother you, and he left. The yogi, he was leaving the heaven, and then God came out of the heaven himself, out of the main sort of central throne room, and went out himself just by apparition, because he's powerful. And then he said, hey, come here, like a Wizard of Oz thing. And then the guy says, look, I'm leaving. I'm not going to bother you. Don't get me scared, because it's powerful God. So God says, no, I just can't send you away without answering you, he said. I didn't answer you in there, because let me tell you what happened. When the universe came up in its cycle out of the pralaya, state of dissolution, and it was about to be populated type of thing. I was the first being that arrived because I'm the luckiest and the most powerful of the previous round. And so I arrived and nobody was there. And I was thinking, what's going on? Where am I? What am I doing here? And then all those other beings showed up. Pop, 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 pop. They just came like that. They, those gods are not born out of a womb. They're born out of a lotus. They're just apparition. And when they saw me, they said, Papa. And at first I said, I'm not your papa. Like, give me a break. What is this? I'm not your papa. And then they got very freaked out. So then I said, okay, I'm papa. Everything's under control. Be calm, be cool, And then since then, they've been very worshiping me, and then other beings do too. But he said, so I couldn't answer you truthfully, that I didn't really know how it works, because they would have all freaked out, in the throne room. So I'm just telling you. And then he said, go down there and find that guy who's going to be a Buddha. And then he will figure it out, and he'll explain it to you. And then ask him to do me a favor, which is tell the living beings that I like it when they worship me, when everything's great and they're happy and prosperous and everything's fine. But when horrible things happen to them, I don't like it when they blame me, because I'm not omnipotent. I didn't make evil.
Yeah.
So this is a way of getting out of the problem of omnipotence.
I understand that. But so far you haven't answered Maurizio, which is what is really the definition of a human being in Buddhism. You said the human was a god, was animal, but what makes a human human?
This is the thing.
And why?